A mother's love for her child is a strong bond that does not fade over time. Not even death can sever the love a mother has for her child. In this video, I will show you 2 instances where a mother saved her child from beyond the grave. On June 6, 1994, 23-year-old Christine Skubish and her 3-year-old son Nick were driving along Highway 50 in the Sierra Nevada mountain range in California when they vanished without a trace. Christine was a single mother who had recently earned her paralegal certification and was also hopeful about marrying Nick's father. She left her family home near Sacramento on June 5, 1994, headed for Carson City, Nevada. She was reported missing on June 8th by her stepfather, Dave Stossenbach, who called the police to make a missing persons report on her disappearance. An investigation began into this case, but no leads initially turned up. 5 days after Christine and Nick disappeared, a woman named Deborah Hoyt and her husband were driving along Highway 50 late at night. They were singing to keep themselves awake. Suddenly, Deborah saw a naked woman lying on the side of the road. She was laying on her side. Her knees were slightly bent. She had one arm underneath her head and the other arm on her head. The Hoyts were dumbfounded. They thought it might have been an obscene practical joke or a trap to hijack their car. They stopped at the nearest phone booth to call the police. Within minutes, 2 cruisers were on the site where Deborah had seen the woman's body. However, without a landmark to pinpoint the exact location, the authorities found nothing. The next morning, some began to suspect that the sighting had something to do with the disappearance of Christine and Nick. At the urging of their families, Deputy Rich Strasser decided to investigate further. He figured it might be easier to spot something in the daylight. Deborah had pinpointed a particularly dangerous stretch of Highway 50 known as Bullion Bend. As Strasser drove in the area, he noticed a child's black tennis shoe on the side of the road. The area next to it was a steep embankment. He decided to pull over and search there further. At the bottom of the ravine, he discovered the twisted remains of Christine's car. He checked her and discovered she had passed away. He went to the passenger side to check Nick, who was lying in a fetal position, naked. Strasser assumed Nick had also died. However, when he touched his face to find a pulse, it appears that he took a breath. Strasser immediately called for an ambulance. Nick had been alone in the car for 5 days. Police believe that sometime after 2 a.m. on June 6, Christine fell asleep at the wheel. She drove off the road and crashed her car at the bottom of the ravine. Due to the incline, motorists drove past the accident scene for days unaware of it. Strasser said he had spotted the boy's tennis shoe on the side of the highway Saturday and then found the car. He believes the boy at some point climbed from the car to the highway and then returned to the car. That is the only explanation for the shoe being on the road. Christine had been killed instantly. Nick was all alone and with no way out and no one to talk to. Christine's mother believes that he spent the time talking to her, unaware she was dead. Against all odds, he had survived 5 days of blistering heat and 4 nights of cold, dark solitude. Doctors that examined him believed he would have only had an hour or 2 left to live had he not been rescued. The strange circumstances that saved Nick's life seemed to defy explanation. If Deborah had not seen the naked woman, he would not have survived. It seems impossible for that to have been Christine, as she was still fully clothed and wearing her seatbelt. Furthermore, Strasser believes that she was most likely killed on impact. Deborah is certain that she saw a naked woman on the side of the road. She and Christine's family believes that it was her spirit who saved Nick that night. Nick later told interviewers, "I remember almost every night. I don't remember the days too much, but I remember the night we wrecked. I remember the car flipping. I remember hitting tree after tree after tree. And I remember when the roof of the car got ripped off. I remember seeing my mom. I remember getting out of the car. I remember climbing up that 40-foot embankment and sliding down on pine needles. I remember seeing the lights. I remember every night pretty much. I just don't remember the days at all. If anything, I feel like I was sleeping, but I don't remember the days at all." On Paranormal Witness, Nick, now an adult, was interviewed. He described a bright light surrounding their car following the incident. He also recalled seeing the figure of a woman standing near the road. He believed that Christine was watching over him following the incident. It is also mentioned that Christine's aunt had several dreams about the accident before she and Nick were ever reported missing. She saw him lying in the car in a ditch. She also saw the number 16, which turned out to be the number for a mile marker near the accident scene. Even though this was a tragic and horrible accident, the family is grateful that Nick at least survived, and they'll always hold the memory of knowing that Christine was there to help her baby all the way to the end. What a miracle it was.
I feel that Chrissy's love for Nicky was so great that her spirit wouldn't let go of him. It is a miracle that Nicky is walking, talking, breathing, eating. I mean, you know, it was a miracle of God that Nicky is what he is today and whatever he's going to be in the future.
We may never know exactly why Nick Skubish was saved or how. What truly matters is that he is still alive. Tangible proof, perhaps, that the bond between a mother and child can transcend every obstacle, even death itself.
Are you guys aware there's a car in the river on the south end of Spanish Fork Main Street over the bridge?
What kind of car is it?
It's a red Cavalier.
And you see the person?
Yeah, I can see a hand.
And what side of the car?
On the passenger.
Do they look like they're moving at all?
No, they don't. It's upside down, the top's pushed, and there's water in there.
How far off are they in the water, would you say?
Almost the whole car length. The back of the car is in.
And it is upside down or right side up?
It's upside down.
Jennifer Grossbeck and her daughter Lily left the home of Jenny's parents on Friday, March 6, 2015, around 10 at night. She was driving from Salem, Utah, where her parents lived, to Springfield. Jenny's father strapped little Lily in her car seat and sent them on their way. Little did he know he wouldn't see his daughter alive again. Jenny lost control of her vehicle, plunged into the icy Spanish Fork River, located in Utah. A fisherman came upon the vehicle around noon the next day. This was approximately 14 hours after Jenny had left her parents' house. The fisherman called authorities for help. When first responders arrived, they saw no signs of life. When the call came over the radio, it was reported as a possible abandoned vehicle in the river. As they moved closer to the wreckage, they could see someone inside. They reported later that they hadn't planned on flipping over a vehicle that day, but as they rushed towards the vehicle, they heard a voice pleading for help. Instantly, they ran to the vehicle, full of adrenaline and concern for the occupants inside. The responders flipped the truck over and found 2 people. One of the first respondents reports he had heard a voice, and he believes one of the others responded with, "We're trying our best to get in there." When the truck was flipped, they saw there was a mother and her little girl. The mother was clearly deceased, and they were concerned that the little girl was gone as well. Body cameras catch the frantic rescue of baby Lily from the car seat where she'd been suspended upside down since the accident. Here's footage of the actual body cam video where you can hear a woman yelling for help so loudly in the car that it reverberates inside.
Is it gonna? Right in against the wall, east side. We're flanked. I think straight down. Straight down.
Eric, get over here, Beddoes. We're helping, we're coming. Eric, get down here and try and flip it. Man.
Many of the responders had talked about that night, and they swear they heard a voice call for help. Later, they found the mother died on impact. There was no way she could have been the voice calling for help. Lily was just a baby and unconscious when she was rescued from the icy water. Even knowing that Jenny couldn't have called for help, they stand by what they heard.
Named Lily is in critical condition after a car accident, but it's miraculous that she survived at all. Investigators think the 18-month-old was in an icy Utah river for about 13 hours. Her mother was found dead at the crash scene, and here's what's really eerie. Rescuers said they heard a call for help from the car.
To me, it was plain as day, because I remember hearing a voice. It didn't sound like a child. Just saying, "Help me."
The car had gone over a bridge and couldn't be seen from the road. A fisherman spotted it Saturday, but it's believed Lily and her mother had been upside down in the water since Friday night.
This is a very dramatic rescue to get Lily out of that submerged vehicle in a very icy Spanish Fork River. A total of 7 emergency responders, 3 police officers, and 4 firefighters ultimately had to be treated for hypothermia.
Grabbed the baby in my arm, raised its head up out of the water as I tried to release the seatbelt.
Tyler, when you arrived on scene, what did you do?
We heard something saying, help us inside, and so it was at that point that we said we have to get in that car now, and we all, the 4 of us, were able to push the car on its side, and that's when I looked inside and was able to see the child infant strapped in the back seat.
So you actually heard a voice calling out, "Help me." Do you know who that was?
At first we didn't know if it was someone inside the car, if it was what that voice was. I assumed that it was someone in the car saying, "Help me." That's why we responded saying, we're trying, we're going to get inside and help you, we're doing the best we can. And that was just extra motivation and to get inside the car and figure out who was in there. It wasn't until after we flipped it that we saw the mother, who we know now was deceased at the time, and the child was in the back seat. And so it wasn't until after that you really process, and we got together and we all heard the same, voice.
And Jared, you heard that voice as well?
Yes, I did. Like Officer Beddoes has said, more than one of us, of the 4 officers that were there, responded back saying, "We're here to help."
I'm really intrigued by this voice you heard, and I guess it's something of a mystery to you at this point. Do you think it's possible it came is it possible the mother was still alive when you guys came on scene, or what do you make of it?
For 2 nights, I've laid awake trying to figure out exactly, you know, what it could be, and so many things go through your mind. But all I know is that it was there. We all heard it, and that just helped us to push us harder, like I say, and do what we could to rescue anyone inside the car.
McDonald had a farm.
And just 4 days later, this is Lily, laughing and playing with her father just a few hours before she was released from the hospital. A truly miraculous recovery for a little girl who seemed to be lifeless when she was pulled from a wrecked car in the frigid water of the Spanish Fork River.
The family isn't exactly shocked that Jenny seems to have remained with her daughter until help arrived. They knew Jenny as a loving and devoted mom who would do anything for her little girl. Lily spent approximately a week in the ICU while recovering. The doctors worried about brain damage since the girl spent almost 14 hours hanging upside down in her car seat in the cold SUV. In the days and weeks that followed, she's only grown stronger and has made a full recovery. She is singing and blowing kisses to her grandfather. While Lily will surely have questions as she grows up, one thing she won't question is her mother's love. This was a love so deep that it transcended the veil between life and death to make sure that her beloved baby had a chance at life. On the website Find a Grave, the family has left a message stating, "Although Jenny was taken suddenly and tragically, we're so comforted to know she is with our mother, who she missed dearly every day. Lily is still with us for a purpose. We will honor Jenny by loving and caring for her baby girl as well as she did." Although Jenny's untimely death has been difficult, it has been a true testament to the goodness of people around us, as well as the existence of undeniable miracles.
You give me hope with everything that you do. I make so much progress when I'm here with you. You hold all the pieces, all of me in your hands. Wait for me while I pick up the pieces, turning things around, and maybe things will get better. So wait for me on the other side. Wait for things around, and maybe things will get better. So wait for me. Oh no, wait for me on the other side.